Hi everyone! This week and next week we're going to be spending some time studying the art of sculpture. One of the things we'll be looking at is origami, the art of paper folding. You'll have the option of following after some video instructions and some diagrams that we've gathered for you, but before you get into that, there's a few things you need to know. The first step to origami is going to be having a square sheet of paper. Now, while you could of course measure out perfect squares in your magazine articles, your wrapping paper, or your newsprint, or whatever else you've gathered to work with today, the easiest way to do it, in my opinion, is to start with a sheet of regular copy paper. Now, taking my copy paper, I'm going to grab the top corner of it, and I'm going to pull it across to the opposite side. I need to make sure that the sides of my paper are lined up, just by gently getting that into place with my hand, and then I'm going to make a diagonal crease across my paper. Then I'll turn my paper, and I've got this extra strip here that I need to remove. I think the easiest way to do this is to just carefully fold it over and make a new crease along the bottom there. If you have scissors or a straight paper cutter, you are of course welcome to just cut it off with that, but for me, I like the tearing method, so that's what I'll be showing you how to do. Once I've got that nice and creased, I'm going to unfold my paper. I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to remake that crease in the opposite direction. With this process, it's really important to make sure that you're creasing your paper as well as you can, and you're just going to repeat this process, flipping it over, redoing your crease, flipping it over, and redoing your crease. The more times you remake this crease, the easier it's going to be to tear, and this is going to be true throughout all of your origami experiences. The more careful you are about creasing your folds, the better your origami is going to be for it. So as soon as you've got that crease nice and crisp, you're going to make a small starting tear at the top of it. Then you're going to press your hands firmly down on your paper and pull gently in opposite directions. Just move down along that fold, and your paper should neatly come apart without too much trouble. Then you'll be left with a square perfect for making your origami with. I'm going to be demonstrating for you how to fold the pecking chicken, which is one of the diagrams that's available to y'all on Canvas. This is just a simple bird that has a head, a body, and a tail. The first step is to fold your paper in half diagonally, but lucky for me, I've already got a diagonal fold, so I'll go ahead and start by taking the corners of my paper and folding them in so that they line up with the diagonal crease in the middle of my paper. I neatly make sure that everything is lined up before I make any creases. Then I carefully crease my paper and do the same thing on the opposite side. As you're going through and making your origami sculptures, it's incredibly important to take your time. The more careful you are and the more precise you are, the better your origami will look. The next step is to take the corners from the bottom and fold them into that middle crease again, like so. Again, I'm carefully making sure that my sides are all lined up, and doing the same thing on the opposite side of my paper. Notice that all of my creases that I've made have been on the tabletop, and I follow my finger along the whole length of the paper. From here, I'm going to take my paper, and I'm going to fold it in half along that diagonal fold. And I'll run my fingers carefully along the entire length of the paper just to make sure that all the creases I've made so far are nice and crisp. Next, I'm going to take the bottom point of my paper. I'm going to carefully fold it up to create the tail of my bird. I'm going to crease this side, and then I'm actually going to open that up, flip it around to the back, and recrease it on the back. We're going to be doing what's called a reverse fold. And so in order for this to work, we need to make sure that our creases are especially well done. So I'm going to recrease it one more time on the front, and then I'm going to use a pen to draw a line on the creases so you can really see what I'm doing. We've got a crease here on the front, But if I open up my paper, I've got 2 more creases on the inside of my fold here. A reverse fold just means that I'm taking the fold that I'm done and I'm flipping it inside out. So I'm going to carefully pull my paper and reverse the direction of those creases so that my tail is now going inside of my diagonal fold. I'm going to carefully recrease everything with my fingers, and then I'm done. Next, I'll take the top of my paper and fold it down in the opposite direction to make the head of my bird. We'll be doing another reverse fold for this one, so I'm going to carefully crease the top, flip it around back to crease it again, and then flip it back one last time to crease at the front. Again, I have this crease on the exterior, but these 2 creases on the interior. This time, since we're doing the head, we'll flip this crease around in the opposite direction. So we'll flip that over, fold it back down, and crease it carefully. And just like that, we're done. We've made ourselves a pecking chicken, a little bird with a head, a body, and a tail. A few tips to keep in mind as you're working. Keep your paper oriented the same direction as whatever set of instructions you're following. This will help you to see exactly what the paper folder is doing and how you need to replicate it on your own piece of paper. When you're folding, be sure that you're folding against a hard surface like a book or a tabletop, not just holding it up in the air and pinching it between your fingers. Doing that isn't going to give you a very strong crease, and the more neat and precise your crease is, the easier it's going to be for you to fold your origami, and the better it's going to look at the end. Slowing down just a little bit can save you a major headache if you miss a fold or overlook a step. If you keep all these tips in mind, no matter your skill level, you should be able to successfully complete your origami sculptures. Good luck with your work, and happy folding!